Last season, following my NHL bets backed by my private NHL betting model, made over 32,000 American dollars for dime bettors. ROI was plus 8.89%. Most people lose betting on ice hockey, but if you understand these 10 mistakes and avoid them, you will already be ahead of 95% of all bettors. So stay with me until the end because each point can save you thousands of American dollars. Mistake number 1. Treating your bankroll like a play money. Here is the truth. Most NHL bets are broke within 3 months. Why? Because they treat their bankroll like it's a play money. They throw $50 on the Leafs because they feel hot. They drop 100 on the Oilers because their body said so. That's not betting, that's gambling. So if you want to win, you need a structure. Professionals risk no more than 1 to 2% of their bankroll on a single game, ever. But here is the part most people never think about. Before you even create a betting plan, you need a financial plan. So ask yourself 3 questions. What are my total savings? How much of that is my betting bankroll and how much of that bankroll is just for NHL? And if losing this money would change your life, you're already gambling wrong. So once you got those numbers, you set 2 rules. Rule number 1, your goal. Maybe you aim for plus 20 units this season. That's 4 times better than the stock market. And if you hit it, you reinvest. Rule number 2, your stop loss. Maybe minus 30 units, maybe minus 40 units, what you are comfortable. But that's 30% of your bankroll, for example. If you hit it, you stop. No excuses. And here's the test. For example, if you're down 15 units and can sleep at night, it means you never had a real plan. A real plan keeps you calm. And you don't chase wins, you don't fear losses. You just execute finding plus bets. And that's how you actually find value. Mistake number 2, confusing hockey with betting. Here's a mistake that burns hardcore fans every single season. They think that because they love hockey, they'll be great at betting hockey. They know every roster, every stat from last night's game, they can name the goalie from each team and they still lose money. Why? Because hockey knowledge does not equal betting profit. Betting is not about who you think will win. Betting is about numbers, probabilities and prices. Odds are just probabilities turned into the numbers. Value is when your probability is higher than the bookmaker's probability. That's all. So let me show you an example. If you think a team has a 55% chance to win, the fair odds are about 1.82. or minus 122. So if the sportsbook is offering 2.0 or plus 100, that's a value, that's a bet. But if they offer 1.70, even if your team wins, it's a losing bet long term. You see, fans always ask who will win and bettors always ask where is the value. This is the difference. And if you don't make that shift, you will always lose to the sportsbooks. Mistake number 3, ignoring goalie impact. Goalies are the most important players in ice hockey. A hot goalie can steal a game and a weak goalie can lose it, even if the team in front of him dominates. In my NHL betting model, when I simply change a starting goalie, the probabilities shift. And that's how big the impact is. But here's the tricky part. Unlike pitchers in baseball, NHL goalies are not always confirmed until close to the game time. Most of the time you only see expected or projected goalies, and sometimes the coach makes a last minute switch. That means you have to find your own way of handling it. Personally, I recommend betting early to grab the best odds, but only after you've done your homework and found the best possible information on who will start. It's not easy, but ignoring goalies is one of the fastest ways to kill your edge in NHL betting. Mistake number 4, overreacting recent streaks. Nothing traps bettors faster than streaks. A team wins 5 in a row and suddenly everyone thinks they're unstoppable. The media hypes them up, Twitter is buzzing, your body texts you, bro, they can't lose, so you bet them. And guess what? They lose. That's the gambler's fallacy, believing that past results somehow control the future. But the truth is simple, every game is its own event with its own probabilities. A win streak doesn't give a team magic powers, and a losing streak doesn't mean they are cursed. Sometimes it's just a goalie who had a great start. You see, professionals don't chase streaks, they don't fade streaks, they bet probabilities and value. If the market overreacts to a hot team, the value is usually on the other side. If you're betting streaks, you're not betting hockey, you're betting narratives, and narratives don't pay. Mistake number 5, relying only on basic stats. You see, most bettors look at basic stats like goals scored, goals allowed, wins, losses, plus minus, standings. They think that tells the whole story. It doesn't. A team might win 3 games in a row and look strong on a paper, but if they were outshot 35-20 in all 3 and only survived because their goalie was a brick wall, that success isn't sustainable. Basic stats are surface level. They show you what happened, not how or why it happened. That's why professionals look deeper, especially at 5-on-5 ice hockey, because that's where most of the game is played. At even strength, you see a team's true ability without the noise of power plays or penalties. Advanced stats like expected goals at 5-on-5, Corsi Fanfic shows who's really driving a play. High danger chances reveal which teams are generating quality opportunities, not just random shots. These numbers tell you what's likely to happen going forward, not just what already happened. So if you're betting with basic stats, you're betting with the crowd, and the crowd always loses. Mistake number 6, not having a betting model. Here is the truth, you cannot beat the NHL market long term just by watching highlights or reading a few articles. With over 1200 games every season, no one can track that much information consistently with their eyes alone. Yes, you might get lucky for a week, maybe 2, but over time you will lose. That's why professionals use betting models. A model doesn't guess, it calculates. It looks at advanced stats like expected goals, shot quality, possession, goalie metrics, and it applies the same system every single day. The power of a model is consistency. It doesn't care if your favorite team just won 3 in a row. It doesn't care what Twitter says. It gives you probabilities. Then you compare those probabilities to the bookmaker's odds, and that's where you find the value. And here is the harsh truth. Without a model or some kind of structured system, your chance of long-term profit, not only in NHL but in general in sports betting, is basically zero. You'll always be betting like a fan, not like a bettor. The good news is that doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need Python, you don't need coding. You can build a simple betting model in Google spreadsheets with copy and paste stats and basic formulas. Most bettors never do this. They don't use any numbers at all. The second you start using a model, even basic one, you already have an edge over most of the market. And that's exactly what I teach at underdogchance.com. How to build your own model in a simple way so you can stop guessing and start making smarter bets. Check the links below. Mistake number 7, focusing only on the favorite. Most casual bettors love betting favorites. It feels safe. Big name teams against a bottom feeder, easy win, right? But this is wrong. That mindset destroys bankrolls. Sportsbooks know the public loves favorites. They shade the odds lower because they know people will bet them anyway. So when you bet favorites blindly, you're almost always overpaying. Here's the math. If a team is listed at 1.50 or minus 200 in American odds, that means the market believes they will win about 67% of time. But what if in reality they only win 60%? That gap is where the sportsbooks take money. Even if that team wins tonight, long term you're bleeding units. Professional bettors don't care about who is supposed to win, they care about the price. The question isn't, will Colorado beat Arizona? The question is the price on Colorado worth it? Favorites can still have a value, but you only bet them when your model says the odds are wrong, not because they are a better team. That's the difference between a fan and a sports bettor. Fans love teams, bettors love numbers. Mistake number 8, betting too late. Most people place their bets right before the game starts. It feels natural. You check the lineups, maybe read a few updates, and then hit that button, place bet, just before the game starts. But by the time puck drops, the odds are already sharp. Every sharp bettor, every betting model, every syndicate has already pounded the early lines. What you're left with at the game time is the most efficient price of the day, and efficient means no edge. Here's what professionals do. They don't wait. They attack the early lines before the market corrects. That's where mistakes exist. That's when you can grab value. Think of it like shopping. If you always wait until the last minute, you're paying full price. If you buy early, you catch the discount. Betting works the same way. If you're always betting late, you're not just late to the party, you're paying for everyone else's drinks. Mistake number 9. Bet bookies or not shopping for odds. Here is a mistake that kills more bettors than bet picks. Two bettors can make the exact same bets with the exact same record and one ends up in a profit while the other goes broke. The difference, the odds they got. Let's say you bet 1,000 games. One bettor always takes the best available line, maybe at 1.95 instead of 1.90. It doesn't look like much, but over time that small edge turns into real money. Meanwhile, the guy who only bets at the bet bookie or only one sports bookie with worse odds will bleed units even with the same win rate. Sportsbooks know this, that's why some of them charge high juice, promote big bonuses, because they know most bettors are lazy. If you want to win, you either need a very good bookie betting exchange or you need accounts at multiple bookmakers. Always compare prices, always look for the lowest margins, the lowest juice. If you can use a betting exchange, even better. In NHL betting, every fraction matters. If you don't shop for odds, you're giving away your profit before the game even starts. Mistake number 10, panicking after losses. Every bettor, even the best in the world, goes through losing streaks. You can lose 10 bets in a row, 15, sometimes 20 bets in a row. That's not failure, that's variance. The difference between winners and losers is how they react. Most beginners panic, they chase losses, they double their stakes, they scrap their system and jump to a new one, hoping for a quick fix. That's how bankrolls get destroyed. For example, last season my NHL betting model was down 4.5 units at the end of December. A lot of people would quit, change everything, panicked. I didn't change my betting model. Why? Because my process was still sound. My closing line numbers were good and my bigger, more selective plays were showing an edge. I trusted the math. By the end of the season, the model finished with plus 32 units. And that's the lesson. Losses don't mean your system is broken. They mean you're in a game with randomness. I like to say, choose your strategy quickly, improve it slowly. And above all, don't panic. If you trust your edge, variance will even out. But if you panic, you've already lost. If you stay calm, you give yourself a real chance to win. And that's all from me today. These are the 10 mistakes that cost NHL bettors thousands every single season. So if you're making even half of them, you're not just losing bets, you're funding the sports books. But here's the good news. Now you know, and knowing is the first step to winning. If you want to go deeper and learn my way of betting, how I build betting models, how I find value, visit underdogchance.com or check the links below this video. And of course, if this video helped you, hit like, subscribe and drop a comment telling me which mistake you've been making. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video and hopefully I'll see you in the profit column this season. Thank you.